ladies, gentlemen, everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of Midnight Oil Motorsports. My name's Ian, and thanks for stopping by. Whether you're a first-time viewer or a long-time viewer, I appreciate your continued support. Guys, it's finally time to take my turbocharged 1991 Mazda Miata to the track, but there's still a couple other little things I need. And I think it's a perfect opportunity to go over some of the things that, well, apply to any car going to the track. Whether it's a NA Miata, ND Miata, something really modified, not modified really at all. There's the basics, in my opinion, that I think you really need to go racing and have a good time. So this video is gonna be a lot of talking. I apologize for that, but it's just gonna be a short list of things that I think you should do before you take your car to the track. Now, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Let's take a look at these parts I got. Okay, so we have a small list here, but it is a list nonetheless. Starting from, I guess that'd be your right side, we have Carbotech XP8s for the rear of the vehicle and Carbotech XP10s for the front. We can go over why there's two different compounds there later when I'm doing the brakes, but that's what I have. We have the Shell Rotella 5W40, has all the vitamins and dinosaurs a car could possibly need. This car's been running on some older oil the past couple of events, but just to get everything circulated and if there's any condensation in the system to come to the bottom for when I drain the oil, and should be good there. I like me my Wix XP filters. Everyone's got their preference, I understand that. And also, we need to switch over to .4 brake fluid. This car still has .3, and .3 has a lower boiling point than .4. So I have this stuff, why not use it, right? Anything I can do to keep myself from going to a corner and then pushing the brake pedal and then not having brakes, I'll do. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Now, I'm gonna go over a couple basic things here that if you wanted to go to the track for your first time, I think would be beneficial. These are just some basic things, but we'll go over a car that's got a simpler recipe than this car, and we'll go over my ND. So, this is my 2017 Mazda Miata that you've seen just in a couple videos because it's, well, relatively a simple car. There really isn't too much done to it, but to have fun on track, you really don't need that much, right? You really just need something that runs well, that doesn't leak, and you can go and have a good time, right? All this car has done to it is just a set of Falcon RT660 Pluses and a set of Sparco Terras that I got off Tire Rack for very cheap, very, very cheap at the time. And that's it. Well, I lied. There are some track pads, and I probably want to go into track pads and why they're important. So, what are track pads? What makes them different from a normal ceramic pad? Well, these pads are just normal ceramic pads, centric, nothing too crazy here. These are meant to be quiet and comfortable on the street. They're meant to have a long life to them, and they're meant to stop your car in normal road conditions. Now, as you can imagine, on a track, it's not necessarily normal road conditions. So what makes these different? We'll look over here at a track pad. So a track pad is noticeably thinner than a normal pad. Now, why is that? Because this compound is a lot harder, as well as they have a shorter service life than normal pads. So, track pads. These are meant to withstand higher temperatures, heavier braking, and also just all in all, better modulation as well. So with these pads, you'll feel with your brake pedal, they'll actually feel a little spongy, when these are very, very firm, and you can modulate even with just your big toe on the brake pedal, right? These require a break-in process, so there's a thin layer of pad material on here that you actually cannot see. I wish you could see it, but it keeps everything from corroding, keeps everything all nice in its place, and these do not require a break-in process. Well, they might require a slight break-in process, but nothing like this. So, all in all, the reason why you go with these on a track is because they will withstand the higher temperatures, they will stand heavier braking, and will not fade over time, which is the brakes feeling like they're less and less effective as they heat up, whilst normal ceramic pads will. Now, if you did only buy one set of pads, get your fronts, right? You can deal with ceramics on the rear. It might feel a little uneven when you're braking, but the fronts are obviously the most important, because when you go to stop, if this is the front of your car will lean forward. Even if your car is stiff suspension, you'll still lean forward and feel, right, that your fronts do most of the braking. Okay, so this is in the future because I didn't like how this came out yesterday. That's why the car's in the air and the wheels are off, and hey, the brakes are already done. Wow. So, what do I think you need for your first time at the track? Well, the most important thing to me is stopping, right? And how are you gonna stop? Well, get yourself brake pads. Please try to invest in some track pads. They don't need to be full-blown track-only pads. They do make street autocross pads. I think Carbotech actually makes a pad called the AX6, which is specifically for autocross and street at the same time. So something a little bit more geared toward that. They will overheat on a bigger track, just fair warning. But if you can spring for track pads, do it. Sorry, at least for the front. Same ilk, .4 brake fluid. You want to be able to stop because, like I've said before, there is nothing scarier than going 100 miles an hour into a corner, trying to stop, and then you just keep going. Maybe the sand trap will catch you, maybe a wall will catch you, who knows? But that is horrifying to me. Anyways, not that I wanted to deter anybody from that. The next thing, tires, right? These tires, this size, nobody's running, right? So you gotta get brand new tires. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is. They're expensive. But for this car, the ND, excuse me, I can find takeoffs, right? I can find takeoffs off of other cars and save some money that way. If you have a more common car like a Miata or a Civic, a BRZ, an STI, BMW, or 3 Series, doesn't need to be an M car, putting that out there. Just be a normal, be a 318 CI. You love to see it. Find yourself something that, you know, works for you. Good place to start is there's a set of tires called a Super 200, so that's like an RT660 or a G-Force Rival S, RE71 RS, stuff along those lines. If you're unfamiliar with Super 200s, give it a gargle, give it a DuckDuckGo. Whatever you want, you'll find it, right? But face the marketplace, easiest place to find those tires, used, anyways. What else am I missing here? Oh, yeah, fluids. When's the last time you changed your diff fluid, your trans fluid? Engine oil? Well, you should probably know that. But in my opinion, engine oil is the most important. I changed my diff fluid last year, also did the trans fluid last year. Didn't drive this car that much, so I'm leaving it as is. Do you need to do those every time you go to the track? No, but if you don't remember when the last time you did them was, probably a good idea to do them. It's cheap insurance, right? Other than that, I mean, good golly gosh, just normal maintenance, right? If there's a leak, fix it. You can get kicked off the track for that. You'll spray oil everywhere and you'll ruin everybody's day. Nobody likes that. And honestly, I've had it happen. I wasn't the guy leaking the oil. I've had other people spray oil all over the track, and it is upsetting for everybody. For the guy that leaked a bunch of oil and destroyed a motor, and for everybody else who now lost an hour of track time. Pay a lot of money for that. People like to use it. So, other than those things, I think it's pretty simple and pretty easy to say that that's really all you need to go to the track. If you can't afford the tires, try to get a nice set of all seasons, even if they're something like a Pilot Sport 3s, I think they are. They're like 320 tread wear. Heck, the NDs and the 86s and BRZs actually come with some pretty decent tires. I think they're like 280 tread wear or 300 maybe. They're still decent. They work. These are just better. That's it. So before the track day, what are you actually going to do? Well, whatever track you're going to, Grattan, Gingerman, VIR, I don't know, NCIM, right? Am I missing tracks? Oh yeah, Blackhawk Farms, right? If you've never been to those tracks, watch a couple YouTube videos. Watch some Miatas or BRZ or whatever you're driving, right? Try to see if you can find a video of that car going around the track in cabin. Visualize yourself in that cabin. Be able to see where they're braking, where they're turning in, where they're doing all those other things. Yes, they're gonna be doing it kind of fast, but the more you see it, the more you'll be able to recognize it, and when you're there in person, it actually becomes a lot easier to notice. Now, if you've never been to a track event before, it'll be easy, the same way, to be able to figure out how they work. If you go to YouTube and, or actually first go to the track website, figure out what events are actually novice friendly, and look up, like I know one out of Michigan is a company called Three Balls Racing, and he posts videos about his events, and other people post videos about his events and how they're run and everything else. You can kind of figure it out and gauge it from that. Other than that, being able to drive on the track and figure out how the events are run kind of gives you a heads up and knowledge than going there blind, right? Bonus points if you have a racing sim and you can go and practice the track you're gonna be racing on in a car that's similar to what you're already driving, or actually, a car might even be worse, because then your car just feels that much better, right? So you can find, right, an ND Miata on Assetto Corsa, for example, or iRacing. You can find stuff like, my wife has a 19 Subaru WRX STI, but for some reason, Assetto Corsa has no Subarus. And then I downloaded a Subaru, and it's awful. It drives nothing like her car. So I found actually an Evo 8 that drives like her car, but similar power, similar weight, and it's all-wheel drive. It works, right? Works for her. She's gotten a lot better, and, well, it kind of speaks for itself, in my opinion. But if you can do that, watch videos, and if you have a sim, use it. It puts you leagues above a lot of other people there. So, other than that, I guess it's going there to have fun. But hey, I gotta get these brakes done, even though they're already done. So let's cut to me doing those brakes. Right? Not too difficult. Our slide pin should just kind of slide right off. Slap that puppet back on there. So hey, just want to show you this real quick, because this is why you look over your car. No matter how many times you've worked on it and everything else, things change from event to event. This is why you look at your car before every event. I never even heard a clunking noise or anything, but take a look at that sway bar end link. Ooh, doggy. Get that on there. Look at that guy, huh? That's toast. That was brand new. So, well, we gotta get another one. Not too big of a deal. You get one from a parts store, but again, this is why you look. Double check your work. Okay, so the goal here is to not have this run out. So we're gonna fill this up with some of the .4. I know exactly what you're thinking. Ian, you're mixing the .3 and .4. And while you're right, once this is all flushed out, it will be okay. You're gonna have to trust me on this one. Right, so we got that full, and this cap on. This cap on. This cap. On. We're gonna go around to the passenger side rear, the furthest from the brake caliper. We can see we have our one-person bleeder kit. You do not have to have a one-person bleeder kit. You can have your spouse, your neighbor, your brother, sister. Most people come and help you. They especially need to help you if you can't find your gosh dang 10mm wrench that you threw in your dang pocket, which I think is too dang small anyways. So what you do is you crack this guy loose here, hopefully not break it. Just crack it loose just a little bit, right? Put your hose on there, and this bleeder kit has a check ball in here. So when I push the brake pedal, it should just spray out brake fluid like it's supposed to, I think. And not suck up air bubbles. So how'd I do, guys? Is there brake fluid in there? Oh, there's brake fluid in there. I'm gonna give a few more pumps. That was like 10 pumps. So I'm not sure if this will pick up on camera here or not, but you can see how it's a little more yellow on top and a little more brown on the bottom. That means we've been getting .4 brake fluid. Really, train? We're getting .4 brake fluid through here. And we're good. Nice. Now, probably, in my opinion, the most important thing. Well, to me anyways. So, we're back to the present date and time. We're all done. We got all the work done, right? Well, not necessarily. There's been a lot of work done on this car, and it's been driven hard and put away wet for the past, oh gosh, 5 years. And after all the work that's been done to it, I think you kind of know where I'm heading for. Did I torque everything to spec? No, I did not. I kind of, well, jammed it together, for lack of a better term. That's not YouTube friendly. We got ourselves something here, an enthusiast workshop manual that is from, I believe, 1993, if you see that. And well, it's got every single torque spec in here that a man, woman, or child could possibly want. And well, we're gonna use every single one of those. Yes, we're gonna go from front to back in the car. We're gonna go over brakes. We're gonna go over engine. We're gonna go over the PPF, which has been an issue. The PPF has come loose in this car. Go over diff. Everything is solid mounted, okay? Everything rattles. So we need to make sure everything's tight, and we're gonna mark every single bolt to make sure nothing comes loose. And that doesn't really make for good content. So, I guess, as I'm sitting here putting some wheels on, buttoning everything up besides that corner, because I don't have a sway bar end link yet. Just a couple other reminders. Going to the track. How are you gonna get there? You gonna drive the car? Are you gonna trailer it? Gonna go rent a U-Haul? Gonna go rent, I don't know, Penske trailer? They offer them too, but you can. What else? Where are you gonna sleep? You gonna sleep at a hotel? You got a buddy that lives by the track. You got camping equipment. You want to camp at the track. That is all up to you, right? So, what I like to do is plan all that stuff out. Gingerman has camping at the track. I usually camp in the back of my 1-ton. But unfortunately, my 1-ton is currently inoperable. So, we're sleeping in the trailer. Be a little bit warm, but hey. Beggars can't be choosers. Camping at the track is $10 and a hotel room is like $150. So any kind of money savings I can get, I'm going to do. Track days are already expensive enough. Speaking of expensive, man, food. Holy, is it getting expensive. You gonna go out to eat for every meal? You're gonna eat the food at the track? You're going to pack your own food? That's what I do. It's the cheapest option. Sometimes I get some funny looks. I don't care. I have a good time. And honestly, we got one buddy who likes to bring a Blackstone. So he gets some, one buddy gets eggs, right? He brings his Blackstone. Another guy gets bacon. I bring bagels. There's some pretty killer breakfast sandwiches for what would cost me a thing of bagels, another guy a thing of eggs, another guy some propane for his Blackstone, another guy a thing of bacon. It's really not that bad. When you put all our resources together, we make it work. So, just some things to keep in mind besides the cost of actually getting there and also the car and everything else. There's a lot of stuff that goes into orchestrating a, well, successful track day or track weekend. So you need food, your car needs food. Do you need gas? Because the car's gonna go through a lot more than just one tank of gas. You got gas cans? You're gonna drive it to the gas station and back in between sessions? You're gonna buy the really expensive gas that's normally at tracks? I don't. I've done it once because I was on fumes coming in. And I'm surprised the car was even running through corners. So just some things to think about. I guess while on the topic of packing stuff, you're gonna pack your clothes, right? I usually just bring a duffel bag, even just for a weekend, right? Might have to plan some days off of work, might have to just, you know, do some other things. Just think about what you got going on in your life, right? It is what it is. Everyone's different, I understand that. Not everyone works 50 hours a week. Not everyone has an easy job, right? I understand that. But if you want to do track days, they do take a lot of time to prep for. Or, honestly, much as I don't like to say it, but it is the truth, you can pay somebody else to do it for you. There are performance shops that will help you with that, and among other things, work on your car for you, right? I do bring that up as kind of a joke at the end of the video, but it is true. You know, another shop could do the work for you, and as long as you trust them or trust a friend or whatnot to do the stuff, then well, why not, right? If you can afford it, right? I cannot. Truthfully, I cannot. That's why I do it myself. I just happen to also like doing it myself. So, surprise, surprise. All right, so what did I go over in this video? I went over the parts I got, the parts that I think you really need for the track, how to get some of those parts further low, how to get your car to the track, how to prep your car for the track, how to prep yourself for the track, and also just some basic things that you may forget that you need for the track. If you're keeping track of how many times it's a track this video and are playing a drinking game, I'm sorry. You're probably hurting right now. Track, 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 track. Anyways, that's about it. The only thing I can think of that I possibly forgot, I don't know if I remember mentioning it or not, tools. Bring some tools. This car, really didn't need any, even though I'd bring some anyways. This car, I don't know what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna bring a lot more than what I think I'm gonna need. I may even bring my whole toolbox. Because I'm a worry. Also, don't forget your torque wrench and the socket that you need for your lugs. You know, some of them are keyed, some of them need a deeper socket, some of them need a thin socket, whatever. But your wheels will end up coming loose on track. It's just a fact of life. I like to torque my wheels every other session just because on this car, just a nice stock car, right? They would probably loosen about between 1/4 and 1/2 turn every other session. And honestly, if you've ever had a wheel come loose on the road, it's a lot scarier because the first time you feel it is under braking. Whew. I think that covers it. Really? So, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the train. Actually, I don't quite remember, but yeah, tools. Bring your tools. The car's ready. I don't know what else you guys need. Oh yeah, an outro. That's what you need. Anyways, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you really liked the video, consider subscribing. I appreciate each and every single one of you do. And honestly, every time I see a new subscriber, it brings a smile to my face. Whether it's just one, whether it's 10, I love it. You guys are awesome. If you have any questions, please throw it down in the comments. If I don't know, I can ask somebody. And especially if you ask me before this weekend, I can ask my buddies if I don't know. Because as I've always said before, I'm not an expert, right? But I can share the knowledge that I've gained with you guys and help you learn something. Maybe, kind of, something, sort of. I don't know. Anyways, get out there, burn that midnight oil. It's late, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this car. I love doing this. And honestly, I love doing the whole YouTube thing. It does take longer to make YouTube videos and work on the car than just to thrash this out, but I love being able to do this. I'm very fortunate to be able to do this, and I appreciate you guys just interacting with me because it helps the algorithm. It helps me, I guess, get more views. Not that I'm monetized, because that doesn't really matter to me, but I do appreciate you guys. Have I said that enough? Track. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I gotta get some sleep. Later. Don't stop being you. Yada, yada, yada. Smooches.